Hello, hello. How's it going? I haven't been live in a million years, or a few months anyway, so I thought, why not? Why not go live? Right now it's Thursday, and Heather has a class. Her class started at 8 o'clock, and it took me 25 minutes to get this live stream together. As a matter of fact, it may or may not even be working. Who knows? But I think it's working. I had to get it together really quick, and I haven't done one in a while. But I thought while she was in class and I'm not too tired, although I have made 2 YouTube videos today, I thought I'd come on and see how you guys are doing, maybe chat a little bit. Got a lot of stuff coming up on the channel that I can talk about. And like today, one of the things I did today was make a video about a new lens from Viltrox, which I think it's been announced. Although it doesn't come out until the 29th, but my video is going to come out on the 28th about a new Viltrox lens. How you like my water glass? I think I can get that to be in focus. Now that I'm off the beer, I have all sorts of beer-oriented water glasses, so that's pretty crazy. Oh, there are people here. Hello, Hassan, and good evening to you. And hello, Chris. What up, fellow Nikon shooter? What's up? What's up? You know, nothing. Just the regular old stuff. Let's see if this works. Hi. Hey, it does. So anyway, been doing a lot of stuff. Heather and I just got married. We got married on the 14th of September. And the video that comes out Saturday, I made today. And the video that comes out the Wednesday after that, I made like on the 10th of September. And then all the videos after that, let's say I've got one video with what's in my bag for the Canada trip, and that'll be a lot of fun. And then after that, I've got either 6 or 7 videos from Canada coming out, and I'm really excited about all of them except for the first one. The first one, we got married on Saturday, the 14th, and then we went home, and you know, our idea was, okay, we're going to go home, we're going to go to sleep, we're going to get up early, we're going to get to the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to get on the plane. And all of that worked except for we were so excited after the wedding we couldn't sleep. We could not sleep. So we flew to Canada on about an hour and a half sleep. And when we got there, we had to immediately get a rental car and drive 2 hours to, anyway, I was so tired. We might have slept about 20 minutes on the plane, but I was so tired on our first day in Canada that I couldn't, we came up to a 2-way stop, and my brain could not figure out how to operate a car at a 2-way stop, and I ended up pulling out in front of somebody. It was bad. But anyway, after day one, and day one we went to Canmore. We didn't really go to any of the big important places. Canmore is kind of in between the airport and Banff. They filmed some of the TV show The Last of Us. They filmed in Canmore. There's a like a railroad bridge or engine bridge, I think they call it, that was in that show. And we went across that bridge, and anyway, there's only like 4 pictures in that first video, but after that it gets good, and it kind of gets better and better and better. Maybe you know, they say if you want to improve your landscape photography, don't buy a lens, buy a trip. And this trip has definitely helped my landscape photography. Gosh, it's been good. Let's check in on the comments. Oh, there's Joy Adams. Joy is a fantastic bird photographer. Used to live around here, now she lives someplace else. And there's Tim. Tim Childers has a photography channel that everybody should check out. And you can subscribe to it just by clicking on where he has chatted right there, where he says, what a nice surprise. You can go straight to his photography channel and check out his stuff. He's got some really good stuff over there. Plus he has 2 other channels that you can link to from there. But let's support his photography channel today. Yay, congratulations. Thank you. Woo, congrats. Yeah, we got married. I should have asked her to marry me years ago. Instead, because we've been seeing each other since 2016. But I was just sure she was going to get tired of me and tell me to go away. So I waited a long time to ask her to marry me. And anyway, it's all worked out for the best because we're married now and everything's going good. Look at, here's my new ring. It is tungsten, very strong and comfortable. I'm enjoying wearing it. A couple of times when I was on the trip, when I was tightening the twisty legs on the tripod back, it would bother me just a little bit. I'm just getting used to it. Just getting used to having a ring on there. But man, what a cool trip. I cannot wait for you guys to see the videos. Let me see if I can figure out how to get those videos on the screen so you can kind of get a little behind the scenes and see what's coming. All right, I'm getting closer to getting this sorted out. All right, so this is the upcoming content on the channel. And you can see this right here that I'm looking at. This is the video that came out Saturday. It's doing pretty good. It's got 2,000 views and 246 likes, and there's always one person who gives me a thumbs down. I don't know who that is, but he's not nice. But anyway, 44 comments. It's doing okay. A couple thousand views, and then this video right here, you're not supposed to see that, but oh well, you've seen it, and it's out. People are talking about it online. It's a Viltrox 28mm f4.5 pancake lens. That thing is this thick. I have bells ringing. Anyhow, I thought the lens was going to be garbage. Honestly, Viltrox offered me to test the lens, and I'm like, okay, but it's going to be junk. Usually little bitty thin lenses like that are not too good, and I'll talk all about this in the video. But I got home from work. It was yesterday. Wednesday is my early day, so I get off at 5, and I get home from work before Heather, who also gets off at 5. And so by the time she got home, I already had the lens on my camera, and she got out of the car, and I snapped a picture of her, and I looked down at the thing, and the damn picture was sharp off this inexpensive, I don't want to name the price yet, pancake lens. I was like, holy cow, we're off to the races. So I went today and worked on that video downtown Chattanooga. As a matter of fact, we got married in downtown Chattanooga at a place called the Waterhouse Pavilion. And a lot of times if I'm doing a lens review, I'll film it right here in the studio. It's really just a bedroom with some lights and a green wall. But anyway, just because I was excited about getting married, I took the camera equipment down and I filmed, or I videoed the opening part of, look, here's what the lens looks like, that part of the video at the Waterhouse Pavilion where we got married. So that was fun. Let's see, and after that I've got another video. This was made before we got married, probably a week before we got married. I went back down to the Summit Knobs Equestrian Trail where I went for the video that came out Saturday, and did some work with the Sony a6700 and the 200-600. Got a lifer, so that's cool. Then here's the what's in my bag, and then after that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos from Canada. And like I was talking about, this first one here, A Rocky Start, that's when we had no sleep. Then the next one is long exposure photography from Lake Louise. It went pretty well. And we also hiked the Johnston Canyon, which Heather was actually able to make that hike, so that was especially cool. Then we drove all around on the Icefields Parkway, and I mean, this video right here is jam-packed with photography that was pretty doggone good. Heather said, wow, this thing is bam, 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 when we watched the video together after she got home from work. Next, we went to Abraham Lake, which is the lake that they raise the water up this time of year. And there's aspen trees growing out of the water, and you can do long exposures. It was 4 degrees Celsius, that morning, which is like 37 or 38 degrees Fahrenheit, and I went out in the water so I could get my camera in the water. I brought an extra pair of shoes with me, an old worn out pair of sneakers, and I brought some pants that were not long. And I got knee deep, and then when I got done making that video, I threw the shoes away. They did not come back to America with me. And then the next one is bird photography. We were on our way we stayed at Moraine Lake Lodge, and Moraine Lake Lodge is, it's like on its own separate road, 11 kilometer, however you say that, road, that you're not allowed to drive up that road. You can go up that road if you're on a tour bus, you can go up that road if you're on your bicycle, but you're not allowed to drive up that road unless you're staying at Moraine Lake Lodge. Well, we stayed at Moraine Lake Lodge for 2 days, and we were driving up that road, and we saw a bird. You'll love this, Joy, if you're still in here. We saw a bird, and I had never seen this bird before. I was like, what in the world is that? And we figured out what it was, and we stopped. I had the wrong lens on the camera, had to switch. And anyway, we ended up seeing that bird again. The first time we saw it, we didn't get a picture, but we ended up seeing it again, and Heather got a shot of it out the window of the car. And then, anyway, so while we were at Moraine Lake Lodge, the most beautiful lake in the world, the place you're supposed to do landscape photography, over the course of 2 days, we got enough shots to make a bird photography video there. And then, last but definitely not least, this video should be called How to Get the Perfect Composition at Moraine Lake. And it took me 2 days to get it. It's not as simple as just going there and setting your camera down, because there's a lot of different ways you can take a picture of that lake, and it took me a while to find just the right spot. And anyway, so that is what's coming. That's what I've been working on, and man, oh man, it has been a lot. Now I got to figure, I don't know where my chat went, so let me see if I can find it. Ah, there it is. Let's see if anybody's saying anything. Whoa, I see lots of stuff. Joy says, thank you, East Tennessee. Yep, great photographer, and she's moved to someplace else in East Tennessee. Cub Run Wildlife, hello to you. Chris Spencer, doesn't work on Tim. Oh, bummer. I don't know exactly what that means, but just search for Tim Childers Photography. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, keep trying. It's worthwhile. Joyce says, Phil, you've lost a lot of weight. Yeah, I've lost about 30 pounds. About 30 pounds. Although since I lost 30 pounds while we were on our honeymoon, I ate like a crazy person and gained a couple of those back. Looks like some exciting stuff in the pipeline. Definitely. And yay for the birds. Yeah. So that is really what I wanted to come in here and tell you guys. And the time is now 8:38. So we can talk about whatever you want to talk about until Heather gets out of class. Her professor, her class is supposed to be over at 8:50 Eastern time. But I bet you it will go past that. This particular professor likes to talk, as most of them do. That's how you educate people, is you talk to them. So I have another lens. This is another Viltrox lens, and I have been wanting this lens for a long time, long time. And I finally got it. I haven't worked on a video about it yet, but I have made a couple of pictures. This is a 16 millimeter for full frame prime lens, and the maximum aperture, as you can see on the box, is f1.8. And everybody I've seen make a review of it has loved it, and I'm very excited. As a matter of fact, pardon me, let me go over here to the lens cabinet. I already have it on my Z8. And we've got a hurricane. I hope all of you guys are safe from hurricane or tropical storm. I'm not sure which it is. I think it's a hurricane. Hurricane Helene is coming, and it's raining a bunch. But this is that lens, that 16 millimeter. If I can get focus. And it even has a screen on it, which is pretty cool and pretty crazy. But it's a 16 millimeter 1.8. Apparently it's pretty good for astrophotography. So one day I'm going to do astrophotography with it, and I'm definitely going to do landscape photography with it. It is weather sealed. It does have the rubber weather sealer thingy on there. So I might even do some landscape photography with it Sunday someplace. Surely the waterfalls are flowing, and Sunday's my next time I can go do photography. So I don't know exactly when I'm going to make a video with that lens, but I'm really, really excited about it. Milky Way, here it comes. Yeah, definitely. You know, and I like astrophotography. It just happens at the wrong time of day for me. I used to go to bed around 11 or 12 or even midnight, but Heather's got me going to sleep at 9:30 at night, like I'm a grandpa or something. And you know, I like that because my favorite time to do photography is at sunrise. So if you stay up until 11, 12, 1 o'clock at night, it's hard to get up at sunrise. But going to bed at 9:30 or 10, it's a lot easier. And that's going to be cool. But it's hard to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 or 4 if your bedtime is 9:30. Maybe I'll just get up early. I may go to, I think you can do land or astrophotography on Chilhowie Mountain, and Tim may know this, and I know my friend Percy Shealy does some of that. So maybe I'll go there and try some astrophotography. That's the genre of photography that I most want to get better at, but I practice the very least is astrophotography. Here's a question for you guys. What sort of photography do you want to practice but you never do? I've already told you mine. Mine is astrophotography. Let's see, there's Terrell. My eyes are not very good. Let's just call you Terrell. Hello, Terrell. Or thanks for joining in. Hello to you. Where are you from? Where's everybody from? Yeah, Joey says it's a good excuse to hook up with Percy. You know, Percy and I have been talking about doing astrophotography together for, I bet, at least 4 years. Percy Shealy's a friend of mine. He's a Canon shooter, and he doesn't do astrophotography very much, but when he does, he brings home pictures that are worthy of a portfolio. He's gotten a picture. I don't know if you people from around here will know where Bald River Falls is, but he's made a photograph of Bald River Falls with the Milky Way galaxy above it in the shot. It's just super, super cool. And anyway, maybe I'll go with him one of these days and learn a few things. Wait a minute, I see Roll Tide. Hassan is pulling for the Tide. Well, Heather is pulling for the Bulldogs. And as a Tennessee fan, I hope they both lose. But there's a guy named Josh Pate who is a football prognosticator. Some of you guys may know him, but he picked Alabama. You know, Georgia is favored on the betting thing, which is an excellent way to lose any money that you may have, is to bet on sports. But Josh Pate has picked Alabama, although the betting line is Georgia favored by 2.5 on that game. But that's a big game, and you know we got the hurricane coming through, but apparently the only day this week that it's not going to rain in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where that game is being played, is Saturday. So, and it's Saturday, I think at 7:30 or 8:30 on ABC. It's the game of the week. Let's see what else we got going on. Oh, you're from Northern Michigan. Hello to you from Northern Michigan. That's awesome. And Joyce from Greenville. And there's Jeff and Leslie Wildlife Photography. Hello to you, Jeff. You've been out working with your R7, and it seems like you got a 100 to 500, if I remember correctly. Oh man, that water is good. You know, water is the only liquid I drink. Crazy. I used to drink, you know, beer all the time and Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper and coffee in the morning. And then I got rid of all of that stuff and I started drinking water and juice. Juice. I would Heather would make pog juice for me by mixing 3 different kinds of juice. And when I went on my diet, I dropped that and went with just water. And that's how I lost all that weight, is by nothing but water. So anyway, and eating a little bit less. No breakfast. Big lunch, no breakfast. Little supper. But anyway, water. It's good. Oh man, Tim, who was on here, or at least was on here earlier, he made a video today on one of his 3 channels, his Life and Motion Diaries channel, about rain and water. It's just about 2 minutes long, and it was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. All right, let's see what's going on in the comments. Been out shooting with the R7, says Jeff, and his 100 to 500 been hot and dry. Hurricane bringing us rain in Kentucky soon. Yeah, the rain is here right now. The wind is not here yet, but the rain is definitely here. And my sister lives in Osprey, Florida. I don't know why I take pictures of those all the time and I can't pronounce it. But she lives in that town in Florida, which is near Sarasota. And she sent me some video. Her house is up on stilts, so if she does get a storm surge, hopefully it won't destroy her house. It might tear her car up. But anyway, she sent me some video, and it is raining and windy, but not crazy yet there. But here it's raining, but not windy yet. Stephen Gordon. Hello, Stephen, from the Seattle area. Oh, cool. Heather and I are going to Spokane this coming July. We're going to Spokane. And Astro, looking forward to the Canada videos. Thank you. As my wife and I are planning a trip to Banff and Jasper with our Z8 14 to 30 and 24 to 120. Awesome. I won't tell you what I carried because I got a video coming up about it, but I carried similar gear from a different manufacturer. And you'll see way before your trip. Love your channel. Thank you. Recently discovered. I'm glad you did. I appreciate that. You're a Nikon shooter, but I shoot all the brands. I've got lots of Canon content, including upcoming, lots of Nikon content, and a little bit of Sony content. The only Sony camera I have is the A6700, which is their latest and greatest APS-C camera. I'll probably get a full frame Sony at some point. I don't know if I'm going to invest in a really top of the line one or get more of an entry level full frame, but I need a full frame camera because that 28mm lens that I reviewed today, it's a full frame lens, and I did the whole review on APS-C. Of course, I mentioned several times, and this will also work on your full frame camera, but if I had a full frame camera, that would have been probably better. So I need to at least get a used, A7, A7 III or something. So I'll have a full frame Sony that I can test lenses on and stuff like that. But I really love that A6700, and it's great with the 200 to 600 for bird photography, as you will see in not the next video on the channel, but the one after that. Let's see what we got going on here. No wind yet. That's in Kentucky where Jeff is. Little rain. Heavy expected tomorrow night and Saturday. Northern Kentucky, 20 miles from Cincinnati. Okay, so I'm in southern or southeastern Tennessee, and you're in northern Kentucky, so we're a pretty good ways apart. Stephen just switched back to Nikon. Started with Nicormat in the 70s. Wow, so you've been doing this a while. Recently traded my Fujifilm gear from that okay, I went Fuji for just a little while. I bought a used X-T3, matter of fact, from a viewer of the channel. And I built up I didn't get any of their ultra premium lenses, but I had quite a few good lenses for the X-T3. And when I decided to try out Canon, because Canon had Bird eye detect autofocus, and I sold all my Fuji stuff and some of my Nikon stuff so I could get into Canon. And now my newest camera is a Nikon, but I still have plenty of Canon gear, including the R6 Mark II that's filming me right now. Is of course a Canon. I'm using the R6 Mark II and the 24-70 f2.8 right now. This is at 2.8, and it's about 34 millimeters. Works perfect for in my little studio. I was able to get a few pics of 5 rare to very rare birds this year. That's awesome. What species were they? And let's see, you told me where you're in Michigan, if I remember correctly. You just told me that a minute ago, but I've blinked since then, and it's just like hitting clear on a calculator when I blink. We got, while we were in Canada, the lifers we got was magpie. Got a magpie in Canada. We got a Canada Jay, which was a lifer. We got a white-crowned sparrow, which those come around here, but I've never gotten one here. But I got one in Canada, and a Clark's, what is it called? Clark's Nutcracker. So 4 lifers last week. That was pretty cool. Let's see. Joy says, I knew you would come to your senses and return to Nikon. Well, I never left. You know, I did sell some of my Nikon gear, but I didn't sell. Well, I did sell my 500 f4, that great big lens. I was about to say I didn't sell any of my really good Nikon gear, but that's the most expensive lens I ever had. But I was having focus trouble with it, so I didn't mind selling it. But I kept all of my premium f2.8 zoom lenses. I kept my 200 to 500, which I actually like better than that 500 f4. You know, I kept my D500. So I still have my Z8. My Z6, my Z50. I had a ZFC, but I did sell that. I let that one go. That's a neat little camera, the retro-looking APS-C camera. Now they have a ZF, which is a full-frame retro-looking camera. My friend David Sailors, who has a photography channel you guys could check out, he just bought one of those. And the lens I want right now, well, the lens I want more than anything right now is they've got an 800 millimeter phase Fresnel or Fresnel or however you pronounce that. I think it's the Fresnel is, it looks like Fresnel, but it's somebody's last name and it's pronounced Fresnel. But anyway, there's an 800 phase Fresnel lens, and it's f6.3, and it's smaller than an 800 millimeter lens should be because of that PF glass. And it is, you know, normally an 800 millimeter prime, they're like 5.6, and they cost like $16,000 or $17,000. Well, this one is under, I can't remember exactly how much it is. Maybe I should Googleize that. So there it is. It's $64.95. So that's the lens I want more than anything. But another lens I would love to have is the 50-1.8. Nikon's 50-1.8 is not a nifty 50. It is supposed to be one of the sharpest 50 millimeter lenses ever made. It's comparable with, there's a Leica 50 millimeter f2 that costs $4,000, and they're similar in terms of sharpness. David bought one of those too to go with his ZF, and you know I have to keep up with the Sailors, so I'll probably find myself a used one of these at some point. But, you know, that'll be a lot easier to pick up than one of these, but I definitely want one of those. That'll be awesome. That will be really something. So I guess we don't have any trips planned for a little while. Let me see if I can get the chat back on the screen where I can see it. Joy is, let's see, let's catch up on comments before I tell you about our lack of trips planned. Nice lifers. Thank you, Joy. Low light and focus issues. Yes. 800 can be hard to point unless you put a red dot on the hot shoe. That's not a bad idea. Let's see. Oh, hello, camera tool. I've got the Canon 800 f11, and I have the 200 to 800. And for years, I used a 1.4 teleconverter on my 500 f4, and I shot it on APS-C. So that all added up to like 1050. So I'm pretty used to super long lenses. Where are you from, camera tool? And GNTHR, hello there to you, Gunther. Yeah, I wonder if that's how you pronounce that. I imagine you have one of the Nikon 50mm 1.8S lenses. You know, they just released a 50mm 1.4 non-S, and it's nowhere near as sharp, they say, as the more expensive 50mm 1.8. We have lost audio. I mean, we have audio, but we've lost video. So let's see, what have I done wrong? Sorry about that. The camera timed out and I've got the audio. Oh, I have to hit display one more time. I have to find the display button on the back of the camera. That's not it. Let's see, that should make a box on my face. One more time and it's gone. Okay. Yes, I had my timer set to where it would turn off. I need to fix that before my next live stream. I'm glad though that I had my audio not going through the camera. A lot of times I use the camera for audio when I do a live stream, but I'm using a separate USB. So I guess I have picture back, I hope. Please do tell. Screen is black. Yes, I have discovered that. Thank you so much for your help. Hello, Phil Snappipe. Hello to you. And I'm back. Thanks, Joy. I've been using, Jeff says I've been using the RF 100mm macro a lot in the past few weeks. I love that lens. Because it's the only autofocus lens, macro lens, that goes closer than one-to-one focus. You know, once you get closer than one-to-one focus, you probably are going to be better off using manual focus anyway. But it's cool that you can use autofocus at 0.8 to 1 and 0.9 to 1, you know. But I'm really enjoying the, gosh, what is it? TT Artisan 100mm 2.8 macro that's 100% manual that I have for my Z8. I made a video of it with the ant on the front. That thing's awesome. Video is back. Yeah, that's embarrassing. You know, like I say, I got this live stream set up, including moving furniture around, getting the lights going, making a thumbnail for it, and making the selfie picture with my cell phone to do the thumbnail. I knew I would miss something. I figured that the battery had died in the camera because the camera's running just off the battery. But Heather's class was actually supposed to be over 9 minutes ago, so as soon as she is done, we'll be shutting this thing down. But until then, let's keep on chatting. Let's see what Camera Tool says. I've managed some okay handheld focus stacks with the R3. Yeah, I've got a video where Heather and I were doing handheld focus stacks of living creatures, you know, insects, slow-moving ones, with the R7. And, you know, the majority of them do not work out, but some do. So that's really cool. That's a whole nother thing. You know, you can't do a handheld focus stack that stacks in camera with a manual lens. So yeah, let's see what Jeff says. I use manual focus about 75% of the time. AF is good for moving subjects. So yeah, it does help. And you know, if you're back a little bit, you know, if you're not using every bit of that 1.4x, it's nice, you know, at 0.8x, 0.7x. Autofocus works really good there. You can put the single point on your bug's eye or your butterfly's eye or whatever, and it'll work really well. It's when you get to things that are, you know, once you get up to 1.4x and 2x, it's just crazy. And difficult. Every time I do macro photography, the thing I come back with is, man, macro photography is hard, but when you get the shot, it's so cool. I was spoiled to autofocus for my birds. Now, you know, Joy does her, she does her macro photography. It's I would really describe it as semi macro photography, but she uses her big telephoto lens, and I did that too. While we were in Canada, I used my 100 to 500, and they've got around the cabins where we stayed, they've got a hill, and the hill where you know, there's walking paths, concrete walking paths, but where you're not on a walking path, they've got wildflowers growing. And on those wildflowers were lots of bees. Well, in Canada, it's pretty cool right now. So the bees were kind of alive and kind of in suspended animation. So it was easy to get shots of these bees. So in my bird video from Canada, they also have 2 bees shots. So I could almost call that video The Birds and the Bees. There's also a red squirrel, the cutest little squirrel. It's a squirrel. It's about half, the size of it is about halfway between a eastern gray squirrel like we would see around here in Tennessee and a chipmunk. And it's, the colors are kind of halfway between too. Anyway, Heather got a picture of one of those, and it's cute. It's also in that video. Dave, where are you from? Dave says, my favorite good light setup for wildlife is now the A6700 with the 200 to 600. Works out very well. It really does. It really does. The autofocus is great. You can usually bag a bird pretty quickly with that setup. Let's see, Gunther says, I tried to catch bees on cherry blossom with the 180 to 600. Not easy. Yeah, and the 180 to 600, it does not have, I mean, it has a closer minimum focus distance than like a 600 millimeter prime, but you have to stand back a pretty good bit with it compared to, say, the Canon 100 to 500, or even better, the RF 100 to 400. You can get real close with that. The 180 to 600, you got to stand back a pretty good ways, but I've had some success with it. I made a hummingbird moth picture that was in a video recently with the Z8 and the 180 to 600. And I made a Gulf fritillary picture in another video that's come out in the last month or so with the 180 to 600. It works pretty good for larger, small subjects like butterflies and moths. That hummingbird moth was cool, man. That was really, really cool. And we've got a little garden. Like there's a sidewalk, and then there's dirt, and then there's a wall, and down below the wall is where the driveway goes into the garage. And that dirt, every year we go and buy some zinnias, and we plant them there. And last year, at the end of the year, like in November, or maybe even December, the zinnias were all dried up. And I went and got seeds out of all the flowers, not all of them, but a bunch. And I filled up I didn't fill up, but I put a lot of them in a little sandwich bag. And this spring, when I felt like the last frost had happened, I took those seeds and planted them there, and that thing is full of flowers, and we didn't have to buy them this year. I rolled my own, as it were. Let's see, we got some more people talking. Terrell says, I am shooting the Canon R10 and the Sigma 150 to 600 contemporary. Hopefully we'll be able to get some elk here in a couple weeks. Wow, that's cool. In the rut. Yeah. You know, the funny thing about our trip to Canada, speaking of elk, you know, if you go to Canada, you go to Banff, you might expect to see elk, which we did. We saw 2 elk. They were in the town of Banff, not in the woods. They were in the town. You might expect to see black bears, didn't see a one. Might expect to see grizzly bears, didn't see a one. Might expect to see moose, not one. Might expect to see bighorn sheep, didn't see a one. So that was kind of disappointing. Now, the Ice Roads or Ice Fields Parkway runs from Banff all the way to Jasper. And we were going to stay one night in Jasper, had a hotel room booked, but there was a wildfire. And the wildfire burnt down our hotel room. And then Heather booked another one, not realizing that the reason why the first one canceled is because the hotel burned down. Heather booked another one, and then that one canceled. And then we realized, hey, Jasper's closed. So you couldn't even go there. And then they opened the ice roads or ice fields, I always say that wrong, parkway, to where it was open to through traffic. Once you got to Jasper, you could keep on driving, but you couldn't stop at any of the attractions. And I think you might see more wildlife in the Jasper part than the Banff part. I could be wrong. Of course, we didn't go on any long, crazy, in the middle of the wilderness hikes. Heather's not built for hiking, and so we didn't do any of that. Most of the stuff we photographed was right on the side of the road or pretty darn close to it. And there's some great stuff right on the side of the road in Banff. And that's why we went to Abraham Lake, where the trees grow up out of the water, the aspen trees, because that time that we spent there is when we were going to go to Jasper, but Jasper was closed. Let's see, I'm getting behind. Canon R10. I guess I'm guessing the 150 to 600 is for a DSLR, and you're using the adapter. And I've heard great things about that lens. I don't know why I haven't ever messed around with one. A Dragon's Photography. Where are you from? That's a cool name. I've got some great close-up results with the RF104. Yeah, that is a better and higher magnification close-up lens than the 100 to 500. It's just awesome. I love to carry that if I just might need something long, but I don't want to have something heavy. Man, that's a great lens for that. And the price is fantastic. Camera tool. I've got a young Cooper's Hawk coming to my bird bath that lets me get near 600 millimeters minimum focus distance. That is awesome. Man, I'd love to see those pictures. Terrell says, I've got my picture of a white-tailed deer in velvet. That's cool. That's cool. That's real cool. Joy says, good seeing you again. Looking forward to seeing Heather again in a video. Got a scoot. Nighty night. Good night, Joy. Thanks for stopping in. Jeff says, bouncing back and forth between live stream and editing photos from yesterday. About 300 shots to work through. Oh, I know the feeling. That means you've had a good day if you went out and shot 300 photos. Dragon's Photography is from Wales in the UK. Cool. Thanks for tuning in. What time is it in Wales right now? It is presently 9:07 here in the eastern United States, New York City time, or Chattanooga, Tennessee time, which means Heather's class was supposed to be over 17 minutes ago. I knew it would run long. It has every week that she's been in there. I think I'll have some more Guinness. Guinness extra watery. Oh man, that's good. 2:07 a.m. Wow, you're a late night person. It's time for you to go out and do some astro. How's the weather? How's the weather in Wales? We've got a hurricane coming through here. I don't know if you were in here when we were talking about that earlier. What degree is Heather working on? She is working on her PhD. And the next thing you're going to ask me is what's the subject of her PhD, and I always forget, but it's I don't know exactly what it is. Her master's was in intelligent and structure and design or something like that, and her PhD kind of has something to do with that, but not exactly. And she, I think she's by the way, her university is the University of Missouri, aka Mizzou, and we've never been there, and she's never been there. Our first time going there is when she graduates, whenever she graduates. We went to Georgia twice. Well, I went to Georgia once just for her graduation, and she went to enroll and to graduate when she got her master's from Georgia. Let's see what we got going here. I like your setup on your porch. I need to figure out how. You just get ready for your neighbors to think you're really weird. If you set up a blind on your back porch, if you've got neighbors that can see your back porch, especially if you've got pieces of wood sticking up off your porch as perches, your neighbors will think you're weird, but I don't care because I get cool bird pictures. And I can make YouTube videos doing wildlife photography without leaving my house. A lot of times I'm in my pajama pants in those videos on my back porch, just keeping it real. Let's see, Dragon's Photography says it's been very rainy in Wales. I imagine that's pretty normal weather. Nathan, where are you from? Do you believe we will see some longer zoom APS-C lenses from Sigma or Tamron for the RF mount? Maybe. That's an interesting thought. I haven't even considered that. So far, Canon is only allowing APS-C lenses or RFS lenses. So, and there you go. In your next comment, you said RFS. That's definitely more likely, I would think, than a full frame 70 to 300. And that'd be a cool lens, a quality 70 to 300 or 100 to 400 or 70 to 400 would be a really cool APS-C lens. I'd like to see it be about the same size as the RF 100 to 400 full frame, but be faster, maybe 6.3 on the long end instead of f8 on the long end. Let's see what Jeff says. Way cool. Best wishes for her as she works on the PhD. Guess we'll have to call her Dr. Heather soon. She'll be Dr. Thatch. Her name is now, because her name was Heather and her middle name Boyd, and now it's Heather, her middle name Boyd Thatch. So she kept them all. And my daughter did the same thing. My daughter just got married this summer, and she kept Thatch. So she's got 4 names too. Nathan is from New Mexico. Cool. Thanks for tuning in from New Mexico. That's awesome. Camera Tool says, I've got 2 nest boxes and a bird bath in the backyard. 3 security cameras on each. Oh, that's cool. That's real cool. The next thing, between now and spring, and of course I said this last year too, but this year I'm really got to do it. I want a bird bath that's the same height as the railing where the perches are, with a fountain built in. Birds are attracted to moving water, and you can look around at places and see fountains, but they're too deep for a bird to bathe in. It has to be just like an inch or so deep. So I want to get a fountain/bird bath combination for the back porch that I can photograph from the blind. That's the next thing for my weird back porch. Let's see, I've got 2 news. It's exactly, especially weather sealed as well. Yeah, there you go. That is another must. Especially, lenses that you're going to use inside don't need to be weather sealed, but bird lenses need to be weather sealed, and so do landscape photography lenses. Those things need to be weather, and sports lenses need to be weather sealed. But a lens that you're going to do portraiture in a studio, that doesn't need to be weather sealed. And a lot of times, those are the lenses that get weather sealed. So there's my mini rant for the night. They do say we in the UK will be the ones that develop web feet first. Mutant! That reminds me of Waterworld, old movie. He's got gills. He's a mutant. Okay. I would not be surprised, Terrell says, if next year we see a 60 to 600 from Sigma. Yeah, I wouldn't either. I just hope it works on RF or Z. You know what? I would like to see Sigma lenses. You see them on Sony, and you see them on Canon APS-C, and you see them on the L-Mount Alliance, but they don't make anything for Nikon, and I would like to see them make some Nikon glass, Nikon Z-mount glass from Sigma. That's what I would like. Let's see. Nathan says, I really hope so. Canon needs to open up to third party. Yes, they do. There's Jose from Texas. I have a bird bath, and goldfinches come, titmouse, and cardinals periodically. That's cool. One of Heather's friends has a fountain/bird bath going on, and she was having summer tanagers in her backyard. I don't think it's on her porch because she's not as crazy as us. Hassan noticed I was doing that. I guess you recognized that I was doing the Jared Polin L-Mount Alliance. L-Mount Alliance. Yeah, he actually puts an effect on his. I have to make mine myself. I don't budget. Effects like that are not in my budget. Well, it is now 9:14, so Heather is 24 minutes long on her thing, and I don't know how long till my camera shuts off, so I'm going to be proactive, and I'm just going to turn it off and turn it back on. Oh, and then it's going to end up on that screen, so I have to find the button. Not that one. Oh, come on, where's the button? I was trying to keep from having a system crash, and I ended up having a system crash. I need to memorize these buttons on the back of the camera. Oh, I'm getting close. And this will be with the circles on my eyes, and there we go. All right, so I'm probably good for another 20 minutes or so. And surely Heather's class will be done by then. Let's see here. Camera Tool says, my bird bath gets screech owls. Wow. Raccoons and foxes. Okay. I can't remember where you said you are, Camera Tool, but I want to go there. Terrell says, I've been watching videos on making a bird bath for hummingbirds. Oh, wow. Yeah, that would be awesome. Let's see. Michael is in Texas, lived in Chattanooga for 30 years and still miss it. Wow. Okay. I've lived here for 57, which means all of my life. And I'm confused. How many different systems do you shoot? I see Canon and Nikon. Do you shoot others as well? Yeah, Michael, I also do Sony, but I've only got one Sony camera. I've got lots of Nikon cameras and quite a few Canon cameras. Let's see. Let me see if I can name them. Nikon, I have a D500, D800, D850, Z6, Z50, Z8. I feel like I'm forgetting one. Canon, I have an R7, an R6 Mark II, an M50. I think that's it. And Sony, I have an A6700. I figured, and the reason I'm invested in all the systems, or I'm not in all the systems because I don't have Fuji and I don't have Olympus and I don't have Leica. But the reason I've invested in a lot of the systems is because I want to not just reach the Nikon people, and I want to not just reach the Canon people, and I want to not just reach the Sony people. I want to reach everybody. So, so that's why I invested in all the systems. Plus, you know, I don't want to be going, gosh, I wonder if that one really is better. I want to just pick it up and say, oh yeah, it's about the same. And that's what always happens. I pick up the other brand and it's about the same. Let's see. Oh, wow. So you've been gone for 30 years. Wow. It's different than it was 30 years ago. Gunther says, I need a ZF. You know, and I considered one. I definitely considered one, but I decided to get a Z8. I really wanted a camera with a fast stacked sensor. So that's why I got the Z8. It was the cheapest. You know what I mean? I could have got a R6 Mark II, but it's several $100s more expensive. The cheapest, high resolution, fast stack sensor is right here in the Z8. And so I'm not made of money, you know, so let's get the cheapest one that does basically the same thing. Let's see, a Dragons Photography. Do you think they will bring out an R7 Mark II? Yeah, I really do think they will. The question is when. And honestly, after just getting married and buying a Z8 and having a heart attack, I'm ready to not buy a camera for a little while. But I was looking through some of my older videos today, and I've been saying for a while that I don't want Nikon to make a Z50 Mark II. I want them to make a better, more expensive Z70 or Z90 instead. But I was looking through some of my older videos, and man, my Z50 bird photography videos absolutely kill. Some of them have 20 and 30,000 views. So you can count on it, even if they disappoint me and make a Z52 instead of a Z70 or a Z90, Phil's going to be buying one because they do well on the channel, and even though the battery will still probably get on my very last nerve, I always enjoy shooting with my Z50. I'll be getting one. You can mark that down. And if they make, pretty much my budget allows me to have whatever the best APS-C camera is from all three brands. Because they don't update their very best APS-C camera very often, so that makes it where I don't have to buy them that often, and there's only three. So, you know, I have the R7, that's the best Canon APS-C. I have the A6700, that's the best Sony APS-C. And I'm hoping for Nikon to make a camera that could be called the best Nikon APS-C. Okay, I'm getting behind. As popular the R7 is, I am surprised they haven't released an R7 Mark II. Yeah, you know, the 7D Mark II was super popular, and they never made a 7D Mark III. So who knows what goes on in the minds of the people at Canon? But it would seem like making a 7D Mark III would have been a no-brainer, but they never did. So hopefully they'll figure out that there's a big market for an R7 Mark II, especially if they can just make that sensor fast enough to where you can shoot electronic shutter without wobblies. Then all will be well. Jeff and Leslie, your camera collection sounds like my guitar collection. Oh, I have a 1998 PV Wolfgang stop tailpiece, no Floyd Rose on it. It's bird's eye maple neck, bird's eye maple fretboard, and flame maple arched top with transparent amber paint on it. Very cool. Also, I went to a concert. I went to see Mark Tremonti's solo band, and Wolfgang Van Halen was playing bass, and I got Wolfgang to sign my Wolfgang. So there's my guitar story. Let's see, I got lost again. Gunther says, I watched those Z50 Bird videos, and I appreciate that, and I enjoyed making them, and I'm going to make more. Like I say, I took the Z50 last year to the Hiawassee Wildlife Reserve and made pretty good photos that I was proud of sandhill cranes in flight with that camera. So there's nothing wrong with that little camera, and I'm not done with it. I'll be bringing it out again, at least until they make a Z52, and then I'll probably let that camera take over. Let's see, Jeff says, hoping for the R7 Mark II next year. Leslie is retiring, and I want to get one for her then. That'll be awesome. Also, if the specs are better, I'll sell my R7 and get the R7 II as well. Mine as well, why not? Michael says, I saw that the R6 Mark III had been seen in the wild. Yeah, I saw that too, and I wonder what they're going to improve on it, because, you know, I think they're going to try to keep up with the Z6 III, and the Z6 III has that partially stacked sensor. Well, the sensor in the R6 Mark II is like the fastest non-stacked sensor in the world. If you look at that sensor readout chart, which I don't have prepared to bring up. But anyway, I don't think that the sensor in the Z6 III is, if it's faster at all, it's not much faster than the sensor in the R6 Mark II. So what are they going to do? Well, the rumor is they're going to put the sensor from the R3 in the R6 Mark III, and that is substantially faster. That's not as fast as the sensor in this, but it's actually a little bit faster than the sensor in the R5 Mark II. But the R5 Mark II is 45 megapixels and the R3 is 24 megapixels. So it makes sense that it can read that faster, because it's, you know, it's 21 less megapixels to be reading quickly. But yeah, that, you know, I'm probably not going to buy the R6 Mark III, because I've just invested a ton of money in a full frame camera, and I don't want to try to keep up with all the latest and greatest on full frame, because it's just too expensive. But again, I will be keeping up with all the latest and the greatest on APS-C. This is an APS-C channel that occasionally uses full frame. Terrell says, rumors is they're releasing an R6 Mark III. Yes, we were talking about that. And Jeff says, nice axe. You know, that is the coolest doggone guitar. I can play that thing, and if I get done playing it and it's in tune and the strings are old, in other words, they're not just sitting there stretching in the case, I can put that thing in the case and set it down and pick it up 2 months later, and it will still be perfectly in tune. I've got other guitars. I've got a Stratocaster. I've got an old BC Rich bitch. None of them do like that. That guitar is fantastic. So, all right, well, it's 9:24, and I have very much enjoyed this. My first live stream in a long, long time. I think I hear class being dismissed, in the other room. So I'm going to sign off after 2000 Martin D28. That's cool. I have a Martin. I have one of those little plastic Martins. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but the little Martin guitar that looks like a real Martin acoustic guitar, but the body is made of plastic. It looks like wood, but it's made of plastic. It's got a wooden neck on it. But anyway, I've got one of those just to tinker around on from time to time. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Thank you so much. If you're still here, I want to tell you that I've started another channel. It's called Phil Makes Videos. And there's 2 videos on there. One is from, where is it from? One is from, we ate at Calgary Tower, which is a restaurant that goes around the top of this tower. It looks like the Space Needle. It's 626 feet high, which means it's higher than the Washington Monument. And I set my iPhone and did a time lapse the whole time that we're turning while we're eating. So I got one video of that, and I've got a room tour on that channel from our hotel room at Moraine Lake Lodge. But what I want to do with that channel is put videos that just don't work for a photography channel, because I used to put non-photography channel videos from time to time on this channel, and it would, you know, if people weren't interested in them, they wouldn't watch, and then the next video that came out, it wouldn't recommend them to those people. So that's why the second channel. So if you want to see the second channel, it's called Phil Makes Videos. Very simple title. Go find it and subscribe. That would be great. Now let's see what everybody's saying. Good night, everyone. Martin X series. Good night, Nathan. When we visited 3 years ago, I found a massive waterfall on Signal Mountain that I never knew was there. Have you shot that? I've shot a number of waterfalls on Signal Mountain. I don't know if I'm shooting the one that you're talking about. There's one at the top of the mountain. There's one about halfway down the mountain on Middle Creek. And then there's another one at the bottom of the mountain that flows into Middle Creek. They call it Middle Creek Falls, but it's actually some other tributary flowing into Middle Creek. And that's my favorite. But the one on the top, I may go to the one on the top Sunday morning. It's a man-made dam, but it's 100 years old, and it's beautiful when the water's flowing across it. I may go there. I need to see what the right focal length is for there, because it may not be 16 millimeters. On top facing Mountain Creek Road. Oh, I may not have been to that one, Michael. Maybe you need to send me a private message telling me where that thing is. Maybe I should go to that at some point. But anyway, I think Heather's getting done. Thank you so much for joining me. Check out my new channel, Phil Makes Videos, if you want to. If you don't, that's okay too. Just hang out at the photography channel. I appreciate anytime you guys tune in. I love to hear your comments, and I try to reply to as many of them as I can. Have a great night. Thanks, everybody.